it's not good to take joy in other people's misery. I mean, obviously, right? But I'm watching this the abortion meltdown, and I keep hearing and seeing the "my body, my choice" meme, and it's just I just have to laugh to myself. Breaking it all the way down, what you're saying is the government should not be making health decisions for people. As we've kind of boiled child sacrifice down to a health decision. That's the wording that they like to use. And it's not child sacrifice on the part of the women getting abortions. To them, they want to get an abortion. They have a unwanted pregnancy. And there are those very few cases that they always bring up as, what if someone was raped? It's like, well, yeah, you should have that taken into consideration in that situation. And it's the same thing if anything like that happened, like in a case of like incest or something like that. Of course, that option should be there. You shouldn't have to carry to term this child that was conceived in a terrible incident. But that's a very, very small percentage of the abortion cases. Very small. But that's always held up as a talking point when it's basically used mainly for birth control. But even the women who do have abortions, they don't think of it as they're sacrificing children. But the system does. The system, it is to them. It carries the same energy with it. They get the same points for it in a spiritual sense as they would if they took a infant to the top of a temple and laid it on a stone altar. It's the same thing. Same exact thing. So the system wants it for sure. And I'm going to get to what my theory is on the whole thing in a moment. But first I just wanted to reiterate the my body, my choice thing. The government should not be making health decisions for anybody. But when I said that, over the past few years, when they were forcing people onto the street, out of their jobs, in some cases breaking up their families, and ending the lives of some people due to all this shit. And I would say it should be my body, my choice, the government should not be making health decisions for me. When I said this during the time of COVID, whether it was on social media or wherever, whatever internet space you can say these things, I don't often talk about this stuff in IRL. But when I would evoke that, I would be called a Nazi, they wouldn't even go into it's not the same thing. They wouldn't even do that. It would just be like, no, fuck you, no. So now that it's something important to them, in this case birth control, now it's back on the menu. That's pretty fucking wishy-washy. And I don't support that kind of shit. So I'm enjoying it a little bit, seeing these people have a meltdown, because no one would back me when I was trying to use that same thing. It's the same thing, by their own categorization of it being a health issue, it's the exact same thing. But now, because it's something you want, you're back to, oh no, the government. But before it was fine, right? So fuck you. You get what you fucking deserve. So anyway, what I think is the plan here is they want to outlaw abortion, okay? In every state, they want to do this federally. And the reason is there will still be people that are in need of that service. Okay, so what will be created will be basically what is a black market option or service to do abortions. Okay. Now, much like certain big drug dealers and how the CIA deals with them, the United States government will turn a blind eye in some fashion to these services. They'll have to go through the motions of being super low-key, but it will be like an open secret that if you need to have an abortion, you go to this place, this and that. That is 100% better for the government, because now, with this new model, you will need no paperwork at all. There's no expectation of a process of what they do with the bodies of the unborn. None of that will have to be documented. You know, when I think it was a Project Veritas or someone did an investigative report on abortion clinics and how they would sell, you know, the body parts of the aborted infants, and that whole business that exists around that very high dollar business. I think they probably feel like, oh, we can't have this happening. You know, we can't have people investigating this kind of stuff and say, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing with my aborted baby's parts, and what can you do? So what this will do is it will take away any kind of expectation that's the expectation. I'm having a problem with words today. But they'll be able to just do whatever the fuck they want, basically. Sometimes I reach for those fancy words when I could have just went straight with it, but I don't know. I like reaching for the fancy words. Richie Blackmore, guitar player for Deep Purple, he was talking about guitar players, and he said he'd rather hear someone go for an out there note and fuck up than just play it safe all the time. I do a similar thing with language. So I'm the Richie Blackmore of conversational language. So I think that's what the underlying deal is here, or what the plan is, to create a secondary market that would meet the needs that will, of course, still exist. And what it will do is make it even easier to use it for a birth control method. There'll be no paperwork. You won't have to get your parents' consent. You won't have to have someone with you when you go there to drive you home. None of that stuff. Medication. There will be no rules or regulations as to how this goes, and it will kind of be left up to each clinic or wherever they end up doing it as to how they want to run their show. So on the end of the people that are in this for the child sacrifice, it expedites the process and actually grows their potential customer base or deposit base, or whatever you want to call it. it'll make it much easier. It will be it could be used for a birth control on a much bigger scale, and it will be, because it'll be easier to use for that. In my opinion. IMO. So that's what I think they're doing. It would get rid of any kind of administration or any kind of paperwork or any kind of rules, or you wouldn't even have to be a certain age. You just, hey, I want this done. Okay, well, here's how we do it at the clinic. You come in with this. You know, you can come in drunk if you want. They don't care. They just want that baby and the parts of it. They'll get more quality parts on their end because they'll be able to take it out how they want to take it out. They won't have to have any, because even though things are done kind of wonky as it is now, they won't have any restrictions as to how they could do it with this new system that will emerge in light of a federal ban. And just like the government agencies that turn a blind eye to all the other industries they have that they work on with criminals, it'll be the same thing. They'll just turn a blind eye. It'll be an open secret. Won't have to be publicized. You won't have to know. They won't have to have a clinic where people could show up to protest or anything like that. They wouldn't even have to have a fixed address. It could be like a company. Shit, they could visit. They could come to your house and do it. It'll be zero regulation. The volume will increase. The quality of their, I don't even know how to put it, but the quality of baby parts will be better. It's a win-win-win-win for the people who are in it, for the sacrificial aspect of it, and for the sale on the secondary market aspect of it. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's why this all happened in the first place. The ban will then give birth to these black market companies that will, or services that will have complete anonymity. I was going to say, I think it's anonymity. Basically, I'm at the point of the video where I'm reiterating the same point over and over and trying to find different words to say it. I don't know why I do this. I should just get my point out and cut to it. As William Shanksman once said, brevity is the soul of wit. So don't waste my fucking time. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.